Up and down and up and down and up and... No, this is not the Jack LaLanne exercise podcast. It is the VO Life.
This is the VO Life podcast. All about the ups and downs of being a voice actor in the real world. Casting sites, agents, marketing, using every resource to make sure we keep growing and reaching for more. We may not be superstars, but we're grinding our way up. From the occasional regional to the local 15 and everything in between, we are living the VO life. Join us weekly for recent happenings and interviews with the people who can help you on your walk through the VO life. Now, here's your host and fellow traveler, Troy Holden.
Hey, welcome back. It's the VO Life. I'm Troy Holden, your traveler on the VO journey that we are all on. Some of you are enjoying a wonderful cruise. You are out there getting the caviar and the top level stuff. And some of us are down here just scraping and trying to make a living. And we're taking what we can get, and that's what we do. And that's where the up and down comes from. Holy smokes, does it ever go up and down for some of us? It's been a good year overall as we're headed into Thanksgiving and the holidays coming up. And it's going to be a tough up and down for our household. We just finished a house remodel. You know all about that. My wife had back surgery back in July. We got through that. And now next week, she is having a second surgery on her cervical up higher in her back, up in the back of her neck. And I'm supposed to have back surgery in mid-December, but the insurance company decided to turn it down because I needed to have 6 months of treatment. And although I've been dealing with this for years, this sciatica and a dead leg and a tingling leg, and then it got worse in my back. And I went to chiropractors the last several years, but and my doctor's fighting it. Who knows? They may come back in a week and say, yep, you're good to go. I don't know yet. I'm just waiting for them to work all that out, and that's what we do. But I was hoping it's the end of the year, our deductions are paid up, it's not going to cost near as much to do this now, and if they push that out into next year, I may have to push it to the end of the year again, and maybe just keep taking the steroid things, in my spine or whatever I got to do. Whatever. Life goes on. You got to do what you got to do. Hey, let's talk quickly about a few ups and downs, but let's talk about marketing because it has taken me a couple of years to settle in to how I wanted to manage my email marketing, I guess is the best way to put it. I wanted a CRM, and I tried 2 different ones before I landed on Nimble. And I'm not sure if Nimble worked for me better because I could find more things online, and it was easier to understand, and I could navigate in it better. And I liked how I could pop into a contact and send a custom message or a regular message, or I could use a formatted message. I liked now the sequences that I can set up, and as those things run, I drop down on the bottom of that sequence to keep the follow-up going by adding another email, in another 180 days or another 90 days or whatever I need to do, where I don't have to worry about contacting people manually. And it's just sending out something that I'm setting up, and I can go in there and update it before it starts going out. But there's going to come a time where I can't do that on the fly like I'm doing. I'm going to have to be way ahead because as you add new people in and they start back through the sequence, and then when people time out of the sequence, those are the ones you got to worry about staying in contact with. But I'm figuring all that out as I go, and I love it. I think Nimble for me was the fit. I tried less annoying CRM. It just did not have the features I needed. For a basic tracking device, it's good. I tried Apollo, and it was just too expensive for what it was doing because I could do basically the same thing on Nimble. for less money, and it was more friendly to me. Apollo was just not as friendly to me. And I caught on to Nimble better. So how does that work? How do you use that sequencing? Mark Scott's already come out with all that. You guys surely are following him and are watching him. And I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm following a lot of his advice. I'm using some things I've picked up that are non-voiceover related and how I structure my emails and what I put in my subject lines and blah, 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 blah. You have to figure that out on your own as to what works for you. Where do you get the best response? It is good to do A/B test, send this type email to this group and this type email to that group, and which one gets the most responses or clicks. I'm finding my and I don't go by opens. I mainly go by clicks. Are they clicking on what I put in there? And I always give them the unsubscribe link. If you don't want to get these emails, please unsubscribe. And they come out of the sequence and they come out of being contacted. If I get bounces, which you will get some bounces, I immediately go in and delete those so I don't have to deal with them ever again. And they shouldn't pop up again because I'm not going to go add the same contact because I'm only adding people in now manually. I had done my bulk stuff earlier, but now it's just manually as I come across people or people convert from a lead to a client. Keep it simple. I think that's another big thing as you get into this, keep it simple. Another step in the right direction that I have to make for 2025, and I do pretty good keeping good files, but I've got to do a better job in my DAW saving sessions where I've got multiple mixdown stuff going on, and I need to save that and save the files to where when I don't open them back up 6 months later, it can't find those files, that music bed or whatever. I have run into that a few times, not a lot, maybe twice in 2 years where I'm like, oh crap, the music thing's gone. But the cool thing was Audition saved the name of the file for some reason, even though it's blank, there's nothing there. It tells me what the name of it is and I can usually go find it. But wouldn't it be nice just to open it and it's there? So there's some good features in Audition where you can save all of that, save that session, put that into your client file, name it, whatever, and it's easy to get back to. I hear a lot of people talking about saving everything, every audition, every this, every that, and I did that for a while, but I'm going to tell you anymore. If it's on a pay-to-play, I don't save it. If it's an agent audition, typically don't save it. I used to, and if it was something that I really like the read on, I might save it and go back and listen to it. I might have a thing called favorites, favorite auditions or whatever. I'll go back and listen to it and see, why did I think that was good? Or I might send that to my coach 3 months down the road and say, hey, I did this audition and didn't get it. What do you think? We may go through that in a session. I don't know. I believe in saving stuff, but I'm going to tell you, the pay-to-play save it for you. I back up to the cloud. I back up to 2 hard drives every day. Sometimes I wonder, is it overkill? Is it too much? I don't know. It's your call, but save what you want to save and what you feel good about saving, what you think you ought to save. If it worries you and you're a worrywart, save it all. I save every contract. I archive emails out of Outlook into a folder inside my hard drive to where it saves it to the cloud also, where I have copies of emails if there's anything mentioned about terms or conditions or blah, blah, blah. I don't save all the emails, just the ones related to booking a job. And, that's all up to you, yourself, and you. You don't have to do what everybody else does, but, do your thing, save what you want to save, and get that CRM going. I've always said if you need to, you can start with Excel and you can manually track it. But once you are in business and you're semi-busy and don't really have time for that CRM is going to help you a lot. I am still not to the point that I have to contract out any accounting work or social media stuff or whatever. And there are days I think about how much of that stuff that I do social media wise and this, that, and the other, does it really matter? And then I look at other people who are highly successful and say, what are they doing? You know? And I see some that don't do anything on social media and they're very successful. They occasionally pop in on LinkedIn. They'll occasionally pop in on Facebook, but they're, or Instagram or whichever, but they're not doing a whole lot. And a lot of us are breaking our neck to stay visible. And I don't know that we really need to do that because we're just being visible to each other a lot of the times. And that's not going to hurt, but is it worth your time invested? Think about it and choose your own path. Tell people that all the time. This is your journey. It's your business. You choose how you want to go about it. As we come into the end of the year, this may be either the last or next to the last podcast till 2025. Two reasons. We have the surgery stuff going on. And I also want to take December. I'm not taking the month totally off, but if I have that surgery the 16th, I'm taking the second half off. But I'm going to take the first half to really lay out a stronger game plan for next year. I'm starting to really, as I do what I preach, reflect back on what I'm booking. I pulled up my short list this morning on one of the pay-to-plays, and I had 5 short lists that are still open that they haven't booked the job out yet, and 4 of those were video game. That tells you something. You need a good video game demo, and you should be coaching probably with somebody more to step that up because I'm getting added to rosters. I book it, but it's stuff that most people don't hear about. I'm not on a major top shelf game, but I'm probably on 50 others, so. And the thing is, they don't really pay a whole lot different, but the thing is, it's more repetitive work, longer sessions, etc. And I get that. I need to up that game. I also have to start thinking about, because in October of next year, if I would like to, I'm eligible to start drawing Social Security. What? You're that old? Yeah, I'm 62. That's when you're first eligible. And a lot of people say there's no way I'd start that till 65 or 67. But my what if is, what if I go ahead and do it at 62 and I live way past 67? That's 5 years that I could put that check in the bank. I don't need it, but I can put it in the bank and it'll be there. And then every couple of years, take that and invest it somewhere or do something with it. And I think that's probably what I'll do. My accountant says it'll work. And if he says it'll work, it's what we'll do. Yes, there can be taxes levied on parts of that if you make over a certain amount and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm not one of those people who is going to be disappointed if I never make bank in this industry because I love what I do and I'm happy with what I make. And it doesn't have to be $1 million a year or $500,000 a year or $350,000 a year. If I can just make my living there, have my write-offs and do what I do and, and bring that other in and put it away, why not? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings, right? None of us know. 62, what if you're gone at 64 and you never draw it? Well, your wife gets to draw it. Well, that's great. But you know what? I'd like to put it back and build a nest egg too. That's 2 more years or 3 more years or however many more years. We'll see. I could change my mind, but I'm pretty well headstrong set on it, thinking it's the right thing to do. Further, going into more. Genres, etc. I mentioned video games. I know where I book. I know it's Texas. I know it's Southern stuff. I know it's a lot of industrial working, I want to say blue collar, but there are a lot of blue collar voices that are different than mine, way different. But mine is more geared toward the outdoor blue collar guy. The people working on the pipelines in Texas, the people working, on the farms and ranches, and I'll pick up some stuff in Idaho or Wyoming or wherever, Kansas, every now and then. But my focus is really, Texas has been really good to me. And so you want to focus on growing where you're easily growing. And then you want to say, all right, the video game thing, I need to do better there. I need this. And I have had, really good feedback in some promo workshops. But I'm just going to tell you, and when I do promo, I don't sound Southern much at all. It takes a lot of it out because you're changing your voice and your character. And for some reason, it automatically helps me. Well, maybe you should read commercial reads like that. No, I can't. They won't sound natural, and yes, I love the fact that there's a trend saying that things are going to get more excitable and more animated or more they won't come out and say announcery, but kind of, sort of. And I'm excited for that because I've gotten shortlisted here lately on things where you were able to do that. So that's what I want to do during December, really focus on how I want to spend my time next year. And one of those being the lesson I have learned in the last 3 months is where I might have had 40 entries into my accounting journal in, let's say, August or September. October may have had 20 and November may have had 13. But I made more money in October and November than I made in September. Another positive negative is Fiverr it's just fallen off the face of the earth for me. And it wasn't much anyway, but it's literally all but gone. So that's another piece of the pie that as it disappears, I'm making sure I'm replacing it with something because it was a part of the income. So that means I either need my pay to plays to be more or I need my direct to be more, which I'd rather it be the direct because it's direct and there's no paying out 20%. And I would like to see agency work. This is the first year. It's not, the year's not over, but yeah, this is first year I haven't booked an agent job. I have not booked an agency job this year. And does that scare me or worry me? No, the competition's ungodly deep in the auditions I get. I don't expect to book hardly any of them. But now that I'm with an agent that sends me a lot of things that are more Southern oriented or geared toward my age group, I need to be booking those. I need to spend more time on those and do a better job. And I'm working on that as to maybe I have somebody I'm reaching out to and saying, what do you think? What do you think? Listen to this. What do you think? And we can do it quick enough where I can get it back in quickly. Maybe. And I don't mind paying for that service. That's part of it. It's an investment in possibly landing a job that pays quite a bit. So I'm going to look at that. You know what's fun about doing a podcast? You can be your announcery self and nobody cares. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And this has been a little bit of rambling and whatever. I'm just trying to give you some insight into the marketing side and how I feel about Nimble and how I did try the others and they just didn't work for me. B, how, yes, you can start out on a spreadsheet if you're not running a wide open business right now. Don't spend money. Don't go get anything. Don't make the mistakes a lot of us made a few years ago. I looked a while back, a year and a half ago, and I had like 20 subscriptions of things I was joined into and didn't need a third of them. Take your time, ease along and this is a tough business and it takes time and doors may open and they may not, and you may get frustrated. No, you're going to get frustrated. But don't let it kill your spirit and keep going. Just keep going. It's the best you can do is just to keep going. Listen to all the other podcasts, get the pros telling you their journey and their thing and what they've been going through, and listen because it's all relevant, because it's all different for each person. Do I need to go to a conference? Yeah, I think eventually you should absolutely go to a conference. But if you're a year in, no. You're going to be floored by what all's going on, overwhelmed. You're going to feel out of place. get a little more familiar with the business, and then go. Absolutely go. Go to a couple if you can. Gosh, there's just so much, right? And here it is, end of the year, and I'm flooded with emotion on what we got going on and how the year's been and how things have changed so much in the last 4 months for me. And I'm hoping to come back next year, with a good plan, and that plan may be 1 podcast a month. That plan may be I'm done with podcast. I don't know. I just have to decide. I do know what is happening is I'm learning. I love having more free time. I love having the ability to get out of the booth and go do things where I used to feel chained to the point of if I wasn't marketing or digging for contacts or doing this and doing that, my business was going to die. And now I see it's not going to die because I've got enough in place that it's out there automatically reaching out and doing things. And like this past week, I booked a job off a direct email. They went on, heard my website, blah, 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 reached out. What would you charge for this? It was an internal thing, gave them a price, and they're like, yeah, let's do a session tomorrow at 1:00. And that's how it works. But that's 1 out of thousands, right? You send 1,000, you send 100 or whatever it is, and you're hoping for a reply or hoping somebody says, yeah, we're going to keep you in mind. We really like what we heard. But the thing is, as long as they're not unsubscribing, they're still listening, they're still paying attention more than likely, except if they don't open it, but don't trust your system to tell you that. The opens on there it's just not accurate. Not accurate. Anyway, hey, I hope you're enjoying your ride, your journey, as much as I've been enjoying mine. We're going to preparing to go into my, this will be my 5th year. Really 4.5. Is that a word? 4.5? Yeah, because I started in summer of 2020 and then really started working in the fall of 2020. So fall of 2024 was 4 years. So yeah, I guess we'll say this will be my 5th year in VO, and then this will be the 4th year full time. My belief is somewhere between year 4 and year 6. Year 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think that is your breaking point where you either go over the top or you're just not going any further than what you are, because enough people know you, enough people have heard you. You should be visible enough, and so this is a big test year for me the next couple of years. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. You can now return your tray tables to their upright position, and we'll soon be landing here in Nashville. Hey, just plan around. You guys know that. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Have a wonderful Christmas holiday. If I'm not back, I think I'll be back once before then. But if not, I will see you in January with the plan of where we're going with the VO Life. See ya.